out there today. Welcome to B&T Sports Talk Show, as we are also celebrating our mothers as well. I just got off a grill cooking for my mom and my wife. And my man B, he's got some dinner plans with his mom. So hopefully you're out there celebrating your mother, auntie, grandma, whoever it is, special person in your life that is in that role, stepmoms, whoever it is, don't matter. Enjoy it. Happy Mother's Day to all. B, how you feeling?
Hey man, I'm good. Been tired. We took our mom out to Santa Cruz today to the beach boardwalk, which is received a bit of a facelift, man. It was actually pretty clean. It was clean out there. You didn't have the youngins running around causing a muck of the place. Here's the funny part though, dude. You know, they pay for the point per ride, right?
Yes, I do.
So if it's 8 points, it's $8 a person to ride the damn ride.
That is correct.
So there were three of us. It cost $24 to ride the Big Dipper. Like, come on, man. That's just wild, dog.
One full admission into Six Flags.
Exactly, man. And that's just one ride, dude. You
Right.
got to incorporate the other rides. So we unfortunately put my mom on a ride limitation here. Told her, you got one ride, you better take it.
How the tables have turned.
The tables have turned. Happy Mother's Day.
There you go. She can remember your mom telling you, yeah, maybe not. Ain't happening.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe
and then
not.
all of a sudden here we are going, hey, you got one ride and that's it.
Say, Mom, sorry, Mom, you can only ride the Big Dipper.
So messed up.
Nope.
Yep.
No swings today.
You had to pick one.
Man.
It was so we literally walked the entire park in search of the holy grail of rides, and we turned into the Giant Dipper, which I now have back problems because that ride is just
It's old, man. It's an OG.
100. It's 100 years old, man. So it really handled like a 100-year-old roller coaster, man. There was one part where we got put into a turn, and literally everyone in the car just shifted right and slammed into it, dude. This shit was ruthless, bro.
I am very, very familiar being a Bay Area native. The Big Dipper is an old school wood ride, for folks who don't know, and it's a wood ride with a metal cart. So that means whenever you hit a bump, boom. Right on your butt.
Oh, you feeling it?
It's not.
Feeling it?
Doesn't feel good at all, man. It's for kids. It's definitely for kids.
If you have the age of 35 and older, and you get on the Giant Dipper, just make sure you got some Advil or some ibuprofen with you, because it's gonna hurt after a while.
Get a seat cushion. Seriously, that's what you need. Yeah, man. I remember there was not to get too much on a tangent, but I remember the old ride at Great America, the Grizzly. I don't know if you remember that one. But
oh yeah,
at the end of its life,
that was a good one too.
It was starting to do this, like the wood was starting to do this whenever you ride over. Yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad.
Yo, on the last wooden roller coaster, we went to Six Flags in Vallejo.
Yeah,
and they have the Joker. That's a wooden roller coaster. We had no idea it was going upside down.
In a wood roller coaster? Oh.
Well, it wasn't like one of those full upside downs, but it was like a corkscrew.
Yeah.
It caught me and my sister off guard, man. We were sitting there like, it was high speed, and all of a sudden we go upside down, and it's only got the lap bar, so there's nothing over your shoulder either. Yep. So you're like kind of holding on for dear life, man.
Good times.
Right?
Well, folks, let's as we go through memory lane, let's jump back into the big world of sports. And obviously we've been covering the NBA playoffs, and I gotta be honest, I was coming here ready to rip the Nuggets to shreds, although they had beaten my Lakers, so I was looking for the get back after going down 0-2 and losing their first two games at home. Man, it was looking like it was going to be over. Yep. And apparently it's not. They came back. I was ready to bury Murray with Drake in a Canadian grave somewhere off in Toronto, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So, one thing I like to let's talk about this. This series is still happening, guys. The game is still going as we speak. The Nuggets are up by 13, it looks like, with 5 minutes to go in the third. And for whatever reason, the Timberwolves have not been able to score. They haven't been able to keep pace scoring-wise against the Nuggets. And all the great stuff we saw in the first two games seems to have gone away or dissipated. Man, look, we have been trying to give this team credit all season, B. I mean, we've said it 50 different times. Like, oh, the Minnesota, in the beginning it was like, yeah, these guys are phonies, they're phonies. Then it was like, you know what? We got to give them their props. They're legit. They're legit. They're legit. Into the season, going to the playoff, they're legit. We can't keep saying they're not real. They made it this far. And then they get to the most pivotal moment in this entire season for them, where they're up 0-2 and they look like the best thing that's ever happened. And they proceed to what it looks like right now is dunk off 2 games. And in my opinion, if you dunk off these 2 at home, I don't know if you come back from that after winning the first 2 games on the road. What is this? Why'd they wait till now to be nobodies?
I don't know, man. And that game 3 was the biggest game in Timberwolves history here. Because you've got a chance to at least get one, go up 3-1 in the series. Now, granted, they still have the opportunity today, but quite honestly, the Nuggets are shooting lights out. And basically what the T-Wolves did in the first 2 games is now being regifted to them in these last couple of games here. But honestly, it's been the Anthony Edwards conversation here, to be honest with you. Ever since the first 2 games, we were starting to give Anthony Edwards his flowers here. But there's a time and point where when do you recover from a loss here? Now, all the great ones have a bounce back game here, and he's not having a bounce back game since game 3 here. He has been very quiet over the last couple of games here. And so we've been talking about that killer mentality this entire postseason here. You know, he was showing it, but you can't just show it in a series. It's got to be consistent here with you. And he has not shown that in games 3 and 4 here. And, you know, they're only down 11. And we all know in the NBA, that's absolutely nothing. That's like being down 5 with the way that they shoot the 3 here. But, you know, these double-digit leads that are just creeping up, they, you know, you start pressing, you start shooting a little more here. You start overdoing things. I mean, look how the first half ended for them today.
Yeah.
It ended on a turnover, on a Michael Porter dunk. Then they proceed to throw the ball away, and Jamal Murray catches it. And if you didn't know that ball was going in with the way those last 2 possessions went, you haven't been watching enough NBA, because God said, you know what? This is going in. So we're going to take a 9-point game and turn it into a 15-point game in the blink of an eye. And that's exactly what happened. You cannot do that in this kind of environment.
It is literally like they gave out the awards and the idiot that got the award just decided they were stupid until otherwise proven. And so it's like, no, seriously, think about it. Like the MVP comes out for Jokic. It's like, you mean that guy, the guy that's getting beat on his own home floor to the first 2 games in the playoff series? I don't think so. Then it goes over to Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. It looked okay the first game, didn't play the second game, comes back, completely is just getting cooked by Jokic.
They played better without him. Without him.
I'm trying not to argue that, but if you look at it, Gobert is kind of a liability offensively, and he has to at least give Jokic some trouble with his length. The problem is he's getting pushed so far under the basket. And the Timberwolves are still trying to double team, which worked for them in the first couple of games, especially in game 2. But it's not working because Jokic is finding the open man. And the difference is the open man is actually knocking down the shot. And so that's where they're struggling. So I don't know. I think the Minnesota, they have to make a choice. They're either going to guard him one-on-one, or they're going to make him pick up his dribble earlier in the shot clock or something. But right now, all they're doing is they're sending doubles. The pass is going to the guy that's open, and that guy's knocking down the shot every single time. And if they decide to single, well, doesn't matter if you have Gobert. He's just going to back him right up under the basket, turn, and shoot some little funky right hook. So here's what I want to know. Has anybody gone on the phone with Dwight Howard and said, hey, Dwight, how did you do it? What did you do? What did you do to keep this guy from doing what he's doing? Because if it was me, and I'm going to go back, I'm always referencing Kobe all the time, but if it was Kobe or something like that, you're going to want to find the data. You want to get the info. If I was Gobert, I would have called Dwight and say, Dwight, talk to me. What did you do? How did you frustrate him? Because that's what happened. Dwight just frustrated him. He just got up under his skin. He was very physical with him. He pushed back a lot, even off ball. Off ball, just to give y'all a picture with it, this was 2020. But off ball, Dwight was literally going into the paint to get rebounds and elbowing, butt bumping, and pushing Jokic all over the place. There wasn't a play where Jokic could take one off without having Dwight right up under his nose. And so I think that's what Gobert has to do, man. But I got to be honest, man. If they come out of here and they are tied 2-2 going back to Denver, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, here's what happened. Dwight Howard told Jokic about the parties that he was throwing here, and Jokic wanted nothing to do with that. Oh, that's man. all. That's all I'm saying. He found out who the true Dwight Howard was, and was like, you know what? No post game for me. We're good. You know, don't didn't need all diddler. Of that here.
Here's the butt tickler. Watch him.
The butt tickler indeed. Here, that was his defensive move. Right
that
there.
Was his move.
Calling it the butt tickler here. Here's the other thing too. Minnesota's defense did not carry with them after game 2. And the way they were flying to the ball in game 2, they're not doing over the last couple of games here. Because even when Jokic was getting passes off to the open shooter, the way they were coming off of those double teams, the way defenders were coming off of pick and roll as well. What you're seeing now is not what you saw in the first 2 games, because that we talked about it, that defensive tenacity here, the way they were making it physical for the Nuggets to even get going, they're not doing right now. They're not pushing around. No. Take a foul, but let them know that you're there, right? Yeah. They were bullies, and now they're not bullies anymore. And it's like, what changed?
Yeah, you're right. It's the mentality, because now Jamal Murray is looking at them like, oh, I get any shot I want. Now he's even making some of the tough shots, because before he was being draped all over, guys were all over him, he was being hassled, everything was difficult to do. And now that's not there anymore, you know. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Denver's knocking down open shots. They're hitting their threes. And you know, you gotta find a way. You gotta pick one. Yep. That's kind of how it's always been. You're either gonna let Jokic get his points, you're gonna let him get everybody else open. And I think that Minnesota was able to get away with doubling the first time, but now the Nuggets have made some adjustments. Now the guys are finding themselves open, and they're actually knocking shots down. And so this is where we talked about, you know, and Edwards, and you know, and a lot of it is too much too soon. You know, I mean, we do have to understand that this is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Big Cat is not really an all-star anymore. You know, this is Edwards' real first go at a legit, you know, playing against a legit team like this. And it's going to take some bumps and bruises to get to that next level. I mean, I know everybody was ready to call him the next Jordan, but quite honestly,
that was me.
Yeah,
that was me.
He's not.
That was me.
He's not there yet. You know, he hasn't played the best of the best in the league. And you know, we could say Kevin Durant and the Suns were, but they're not. You have to play
they
the best
washed.
team. Yeah. So yeah, man. Let's see if this guy can live up to all the all the accolades that have been heaped upon him, maybe a little prematurely. But it ain't looking good right now, man. You're down by 13. You got to make it run.
I think what's also missing is the bench play. Guys like Naz Reid, right. Jeff McDaniels, Alexander as well. The guys who were key components in the first 2 games have been non-existent as well here. Yeah. So, yes, Anthony Edwards is going to take a lot of the blame. He is the superstar of the team, right? Yeah. But guys like Cat and the rest of the supporting cast have also not been playing well. So it is a collective effort of not playing well that's put them in a position where they're going to lose home court advantage again. Because all they got to do is just get one of these games here. You can afford to lose game 5 in order to get game 6 at home and close out the Nuggets. That's how you have to look at a 2-game series at home when you're up 2-0. Just get one.
Right.
That's all you got to do. Because it's going to be hard to close the Nuggets out already. So go get the 1, let them get the game 5, and then go close them out in game 6. Right. But now they're going to put themselves in a position where they may get closed out in game 6. And both you have them in 6 and I have them in 7. So they need to make us look good, okay?
Yeah, man, they were looking good for a short time, and now it appears the tables have turned. So it'd be interesting to see how good this team is and can they turn it back around. But right now, it ain't looking too good. Again, they're down 15 now with 2 minutes left in the third. So Uh,
And look, Jokic got 4 fouls right now. So go after him
yeah,
because he's not going to defend the rim here. So
right.
you might as well put a little more pressure on him here.
Yeah, and they should be doing that every time. So but it's not looking good for them. It looks like they're just gonna tuck their tail and hide, go back in the shell and back into oblivion. If they lose this series after being up 0-2, I'm saying it right now. They are still the Timberwolves that we thought of 2 years ago. Honestly, because they're the same
They're the
team.
Timberwolves of who we thought of the first when the season first started. We
Right.
thought it was smoke and mirrors, and now it may turn out to be smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Minnesota. You know what? I should just start hyping teams up as the playoffs go on because then they just end up making a shell of themselves.
Yeah. Right. There
After
you
I
go.
say
There you go.
it.
Just
and,
exactly. Give them some positivity and watch them crumble.
and
Stupid.
then we got Baby in the chat. Of course, Joker's a stud, but a couple others could have won it as well, like Anthony Edwards, like who he's facing right now. Luca and SGA here. I put a question out there: did Joker deserve the MVP award? And I'm gonna tell you this: he didn't. He did not deserve it. SGA should have won that award. He was the
Yeah.
best player on the best team. Regardless, here, that's how we've always looked at the MVP. Generally, if you're on the number one team that's overall in the NBA, you're winning you're winning that MVP title here.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And
we could have made it.
go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say you could make an argument for Jason Tatum, but quite honestly, I don't think he had any sort of MVP kind of season here the way SGA impacted the Thunder.
Yeah. Man, I think SGA should have had more votes. I don't think he got very many votes for the MVP, which I thought was kind
Yeah,
of ridiculous. Jokic was head and shoulders above, Doncic and him. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. If the Nuggets have a great run, then I could see that. But for him to be three-time MVP, I mean, that's big. That's big stuff right there. You know what I mean? It's always weird how some of these MVPs are thrown around. Because I don't know how many times has Steph Curry been MVP?
twice. One,
Twice.
the only unanimous MVP. Let's make that clear.
Only in
Two
that.
time, one time was a unanimous MVP.
So you may go down in history with we may go down in history with Jokic having more MVPs than guys like Steph Curry, but when we look at the body of work, we'll understand that Curry was by far the better and more impactful player. So it's just kind of curious to think about how these MVP trophies or accolades are looked at, and what do they really mean long term, at least in my opinion, because some of them, they're kind of like, yeah, okay, James Harden could win one year, but who cares? You know what I mean? So it's just,
Yeah,
it really just kind of, it really, sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. I think Jokic definitely deserves the votes, definitely deserves to be in there. But yeah, I thought SGA having the best team in a loaded West might have given him at least some more votes. I don't think maybe he got the respect he deserved. Not saying he should have necessarily won it. Just thought there would have been more writers
yeah.
that would have been on his side and gave him more MVP votes.
Hey, we were on your side, SGA. We thought you deserved it here. Coming
Yeah,
from us, you should have been the MVP.
yeah, absolutely. And Jokic already has two. What happened to that rule? It used to. No, seriously, the rule was
Yeah,
like you get two of them. That's it. We're not really going to give you any more. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, that's generally what we've seen. Rather it be LeBron James or who else?
Michael Jordan.
Mike, yeah. Well, no, Mike gave Mike a bunch of them.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying, but I mean, when you look at the body of work from what MJ did to what Jokic is doing, is it comparable with the way that it's compared?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's that's not even an argument we're gonna open up on that on that one.
yeah. Right. And I guess the other thing is like it I don't know. I just have a hard time sometimes with these awards because we look back in history and we start looking at how great some of these players were. It just makes you wonder, like, well, at the end of it, how much is it really going to mean? But in any case, I don't want to take away from Jokic. I think he's a great player,
Yeah,
and I think he
100%.
deserves it. And we'll see how this ends out. But they've definitely got to win this series for sure. And then if they could get that done, then yeah, if he wins another championship, I don't really have a leg to stand on. The guy deserves it for sure. What do you think about waiting to put the MVP crown on until the entire season is over, what do you feel
Come on,
about regular
Minnesota.
season versus because there's no postseason MVP, right? There's only a
Outside of
finals.
outside of the conference MVP
Yeah,
when they get to the Western Conference, but they just started that 2 years ago.
yeah. So that's usually it's just the finals MVP and that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's move on to the other side of the ball, or the other folks. We got the Knicks and Indiana, which I think has been the best series, honestly. The best series. I think.
It has
Well,
been. This has been a good
OKC,
one, bro.
OKC in Dallas is pretty darn good too. But the Knicks are struggling.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The Knicks are missing Julius Randle,
Mm-hmm.
Bogdanovich, and Mitchell Robinson. Guys that are key components of their offense, guys that can contribute for sure. You get minutes in playoff minutes, and somehow they're like the little engine they could. They keep ticking away, but unfortunately they ran into a buzzsaw today. Indiana apparently has no respect for Mother's Day and was like, forget my mama, and just destroyed the Knicks. They were very angry about it. I don't know why. But they got the win at home, which they should. So now the series is tied 2-2. They'll head back to New York and then back to Indiana again. I'm curious, man. I feel like I really feel like this series is going to go 7. New York is hobbled a bit, and there's a chance that maybe these injuries pile up too high, and they just can't overcome the health. At least we see, for now that Indiana, knock on wood,
Yeah.
Indiana has. But I really feel like this is going to go 7 in New York for one of the biggest games New York has had in quite some time. But I'm loving this series, man. Brunson didn't look very good today, but he's been a stud most of this series. OG Anunoby, who is been hurt, has also been big in this series. And Indiana, that last game that game, I thought they were going to lose that game, the first game in Indiana, until
Well, hoping a prayer, of a
some
three
guy,
that went in.
right,
Yeah.
some guy throws up a 3 from darn near half court and knocks it down. So I really think this is going to be a close series.
He had literally taken 2 shots before that final shot here, and he barely touched rim
Yeah, I mean,
when that
that was
3-pointer went
crazy,
on in
man.
Game 3.
That was crazy.
But I think this series is over in 6. The fact of the matter is that New York needed an illegal screen to beat the Pacers in
still
Game
on
1.
that. All right.
Indiana was also up in Game 2. It took a ferocious effort from the Knicks to come back and win that game. And then obviously they dominated in games 3 and 4. So I think they can go into Madison Square Garden and win this Game 5. I really do. The pace that the Pacers are playing with has actually been what we've expected, which is very quick, up and down. They're scoring within 2 to 3 seconds of inbounding the ball here. So they're pushing the tempo pretty well here. What's up, Eli?
Hold on.
You good, Eli?
Yeah, he's a special visitor.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's Tyrese Halliburton's playing a really good series. Let's not take anything away from him either. I think he's having a really good series against the Knicks here. But they're just, I don't know if the Knicks peaked too early, bro. I don't know if they just, after games 1 and 2, they haven't looked like the same Knicks in games 3 and 4. But honestly, I don't think they've looked like they're themselves in the first 2 games.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, they're missing a lot of guys, so maybe that has something to do with it too, as far as them kind of looking different. But they just play with so much grit and hustle that they're always going to have a chance, and that's why I think this goes 7, man. And we'll see if that actually comes into play. Obviously, today that did not work out. They couldn't hit a shot. They didn't get much from Brunson. They don't have a ton of offensive guys on their team. I mean, they're relying on guys like DiVincenzo and Josh Hart to make up for scoring, and those guys aren't necessarily known for dropping, 20 a game. Like, those guys are not averaging 20 a game during the regular season.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it's not a
at
consistent.
disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't have it go 7 because you have the Knicks in 6. I have the Pacers in 6, so it cannot go.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. You're
we
right.
would want it to go 7 as basketball fans,
Yeah,
but
you're
for
right.
pick'em dummies, we
We
need it.
needed 6.
We need 6. One of us is gonna win that in 6 here.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, Reggie Jackson's back.
Reggie
Yeah,
Jackson.
I thought he was hurt. Yeah, I thought Reggie Jackson was hurt. It looks like
Yeah,
he's back
man.
in the game.
What other series? Oh yeah. So don't. I guess I can't forget this one. This one, in my opinion, is over. I think you called this one to be a gentleman's sweep, which is the Celtics
No, you
taking
did.
on the. I
You
did
called it.
4-1.
Yep.
Cavaliers taking on the Celtics. The Celtics do this weird thing where they beat the crap out of you in the first game, and then they let you win a game.
And then won't let you win another one after that.
Exactly. It's the same thing they did in the previous series. Doesn't make any sense at all against the Heat. But it looks like that's what's happening. They came out and they put the screws to the Cavaliers and got ahead pretty early and never looked back.
Yeah.
I think the Cavs are a great team. They've got some good talent, but they cannot keep up with the scoring that Boston brings with their team, with their starting five. They just got Donovan Mitchell. Mobley has played pretty well. They're missing Jared Allen, which is that's a big loss.
It's a
for
big
them.
piece. Big piece.
Chris LeVert, not really. They don't have enough, is what I'm trying to say. So I think our predictions are on point. I think the Celtics get. Well, my prediction was on point.
Yeah,
the Celtics
yours
get it
is.
done. You were just picking upsets all over the place. Like you had no regard for the seeding. You know what? Everybody that's an underdog is winning their series. I believe that was.
Nah, I did take the Celtics, but I had them sweeping.
Oh, you had them sweeping.
Dude,
Okay.
you know how boring this series is? I even
It is
forgot
boring.
that Cleveland stole one on the road.
They did.
I completely forgot. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I thought they were down 2-0, but I guess it 1-1 when it went back to Cleveland here. So much I was paying attention to that. But yeah, I think the Celtics honestly they're putting along here. They're really just doing what the Warriors did in 17 and 18 was like, look, you can either get one on us, but that's about it here.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would say they're being dominant, but I also think they're just not playing to their potential. But Derek White.
Oh
Derek
my gosh.
White?
Dude.
Or why are we still talking about Derek White 7 games into this postseason for the Celtics?
I mean, the guy.
Why is he a conversation?
He cut off all of his hair and
just magically got better.
Instantly became more aerodynamic and is killing it. I mean, I thought when Porzingis went down that meant something. I thought that was going to hurt them, especially in this series where you're playing against Mobley and Allen. But man, Porzingis goes down. No problem. Derek White says, "Hold my beer." Goes out there, and I think he had a game last series where he put up like 40, and he's
on the road.
He's been nearly their most consistent player. He has been their third scorer, and the guy is all hustle, plays on both sides of the ball, and has been a revelation. So I mean, good for him, man. I hope they paid him well. And if he continues to play like that, this team is going to be extremely difficult to beat because you already have to figure out what to do with Tatum and Brown. Now you got some other guy who can, on a whim, take out your third best defender because you have to remember he's not playing the best. You're putting your best defender on one of those other guys. So now you've got your third best defender on that guy, and he's knocking down threes. All of a sudden, he's shooting step backs. What? Driving past guys, dunking on people? Like, what is happening? I mean, it was low altitude,
I can't believe it,
but
man.
he got it. And that was against the Heat. But, I mean, yeah, man, this dude he's the epitome of six man. Like, right now, he's the microwave. He's the legit microwave.
You know what? It was probably because when Shaq and Chuck made fun of his hairline last season, in the playoffs, he may have taken it personal here, man.
Hey,
but Derek White I honestly think Derek White is the second option for them right now when he's in the game.
Yeah.
Because of the way he's been knocking down shots here, dude, it's been relentless coming from him. I'm sitting there, I'm like, this has not been the Derek White we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, dude.
Like
seriously.
he's turned on a different switch in this postseason here, and he's just cooking everybody here. And let's be honest, no team has a third best defender.
No, exactly. That's not even a thing.
You have one good defender, and you put it on the best player here. After that, every defender becomes kind of non-existent after that.
Right.
So you're going to take your best defender that you have on that team, and you're going to tell him to take away Derek White. But then you're gonna leave Jason Tatum to honestly just cook on whoever's guarding him. So Derek White has brought a new problem to the table for other teams when it comes to playing the Celtics here.
Absolutely. And the Celtics have been the best team all season, so we obviously can't argue that. They should make their way into the finals. We'll see how it goes. But what a team. So let's move on to my favorite series. I've really been enjoying watching this because I'm really starting to fear Dallas. OKC and Dallas.
Oh, yes.
OKC is a young team. They've got great players that are all hustle. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. And these guys are just, Jalen Williams. Of course, you got SGA. You got Dort. Those guys they're competing. But man, you tell me what you think. But Dallas looks like a team that actually believes that they belong there. That they belong to, not only just belong in this series, I mean like in the finals. And they've been,
they do.
Ever since the end of the season, folks probably don't, maybe you remember, maybe you don't. Dallas went on a huge run at the tail end of the season after the All-Star break. If you remember, they were in the eighth, that 8th, 7th seed and pushed themselves all the way up to 5, which was not an easy feat. Ask our teams who were winning games and staying in the same place, by the way. Warriors won 7 out of 10. Well, too bad, you're still 10.
But we're still in the 10th.
Yeah, all right. So they carried that into the playoffs.
When you look at the Mavericks team, you talk about the big two. You talk about Kyrie and you talk about Luka, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's nothing but a role-playing team. Yeah. But they've accepted that position as role players here. You have nobody having an issue with that. PJ Washington has been a godsend to that team too. Let's be honest. Getting him in the trade deadline, one of the best moves that no one talks about. That was such a big key for them because that presents another defender for them. But he's consistent as well on the points end. 10, 15 points a game. If you get more than 20, guess what? Now you got 3 20-point scores between him, Luka, and Kyrie. But the small guard play is actually working. This favors the Mavericks so much here. And man, I don't know what it is, dude. They happen to fall against a team that's young.
Yeah.
I still have the Thunder in 7, but that young Thunder team is starting to show.
Yeah.
The experience between Kyrie and Luka is helping so much right now in the series. And that's why you see a little bit of fear in the Thunder's eyes because they're like, we may not win this series here if these two keep playing the way that they're doing.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's the experience. And I think one thing that's really hard to counter is 2 veterans that absolutely are putting everything on the line. And that's what you're seeing from Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Kyrie's out there having games where he's only got 12 points, but then he's got 10 assists. He's out there doing anything and everything that the team is asking of him, which lets you know that he's on a mission to try to get as far as he can in these playoffs. He doesn't have that much time left in his career. He's a vet. Luka Doncic, the same thing. Luka's in his prime. He can pretty much take on anybody. And the fact that they are combining those 2 guards, 2 extremely high level pick and roll players, with guys like Gafford and Lively, and then you end up with and then what happens is you end up with guys like PJ Washington, who we just talked about, Tim Hardaway Jr. end up with wide open threes. They end up with plenty of room to operate because when you're trying to play pick and roll against Luka, he puts the guard in a prison behind him. And then he puts the big in front of him in a place where he doesn't know what to do because it's an easy lob to Gafford right over the top. Or he has to show it to Luka, which then Luka stop on a dime and drop it off the backboard into the bucket, no problem. And so this is the type of situation that defenders are stuck in whenever you're playing against this team. They're very, very, very tough to deal with. And so, like I said, that combined with Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back, PJ Washington playing great, they're a tough out, man. They're a tough out, and somehow they're managing to play defense. Luka's played the best defense I've seen him play ever. So there's some Jason Kidd's got these guys believing that they can get far, and they're starting to really believe that, and you're seeing they're starting to believe and trust one another, and I think that team is extremely dangerous because of the offensive firepower that they have, and how difficult they are to deal with on the defensive end.
I think the other thing too is the way the two finish around the rim.
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, Kyrie is probably the best finisher when it comes to getting to the paint here. I'll say that with no hesitation here. So when you crash to the boards with those two coming in, that's going to leave a few players open for three. You know, right. It's the NBA. Anybody can hit an open three. That's why you're in the NBA here.
Right.
So the Thunder have a big problem trying to figure out, are you going to prevent those two from going, or are you going to try to take away that little in and out that they have here? So, and then you got to defend the pick and roll, like you said. So the Mavericks are presenting every single problem to the Thunder here. I still think the Thunder should be able to win game 4. I would love to see a 7-game series out of this here, but it is starting to become a little alarming that the Mavericks are starting to fire. And that young talent, that young brain is starting to show for the Thunder here. Yeah. They're going to be put in a position with their backs against the wall, and how they're going to handle it, because you're down 2-1. So you need to go get a win on the road in a hostile environment. When you really haven't done that, this is going to be a big test for them. So this is going to be interesting to see how they come out in game 4 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think it's a really big test. And, you know, with Dallas has everything behind them playing at home. Yeah, man. I think it's I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a great game.
Hey, before we move off on this series, did you see Luka's press conference after game 3?
No, I didn't. What happened? No, I didn't see it.
So someone hijacked the Bluetooth, and all you hear is a lot of moaning coming from the background, right? So Luka's in this conversation, and then all of a sudden you hear this like these people moaning in the background, and Luka catches it and he goes, "Well, I hope they're having fun." And I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, my God.
You got to check out the video, man.
PR nightmare for Dallas.
100% a PR nightmare there. But, man, we've got 4 good series happening here. I honestly, outside of the Celtics-Cavs series, that we have 3 legitimate series that could possibly go 7.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put it like that.
And I hope they do. I would
everyone's
love
in a pivotal game 4. I hope they do, too.
Could you imagine next weekend we're watching two game 7s? I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, man. You know, give me something to do. I would love that. I love to see pivotal games in the NBA, because sometimes they're not good, but sometimes a good game in a game 7 like that, man, that's where you really start to see where the greatness is when you get games like this. And just like we talked about with Minnesota, you can't call yourself great until you find yourself in these circumstances and get yourself out of them. So hopefully they can find a way to do that. Right now they're kind of hanging in there. They're down by 13.
I think
8 minutes. I'm not seeing anything that.
But when the double-digit leads turn into a bigger lead because of the way that clock will go down, and you're not cutting into it.
Yeah.
You could get it down to 11. You could get it down to 10. But if you can't get it into single digits and it hovers around 13 by the 3-minute mark, your confidence is shot after that, because you're not really doing a whole lot to really prevent these leads for, or trying to turn the table. So when you look at it, Minnesota's going to have to basically play a perfect defense going forward for the rest of this game, with the last 7 minutes, or you can say 8 minutes, down 13? They're down 13 right now.
Well, they cut it, so now they're down 11. So they're
there it is.
11.
Now they're down 11 here.
Yep. So they've got a chance to make.
They need 3 stops in a row to have that confidence come back.
Yeah, and they got to have somebody else do something.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Edwards has 37 points. The next leading scorer is Karl Anthony Towns with 13. So they need to get other guys involved. Like, somebody else has to do something. Naz Reid has 11. You know, it's not working. It's not working at all. So they need
really someone else to get to 20.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get something.
Yeah,
you got to get something. So hopefully,
Jesus, Aaron Gordon just hit a shot that didn't deserve to go in, but it went in anyway.
That's how it's been for the Nuggets lately.
That's the kind of stuff that ruined.
That's the type of stuff that's happening.
100%. Oh, hey. The NBA lottery. Guess who's got the number 1 overall pick?
Who? I don't know. Who got it?
The Atlanta Hawks.
Oh,
you got it?
Well, oh, okay. I mean, what are they gonna do with it? Is the question.
Well, the thing
the
is,
Hawks are
is
terrible.
they're terrible, but they had a 4% chance of winning this NBA lottery here, and they've won it. But
Hey,
here's the thing, though, like, are you still on the Trey Young and Murray hype as well?
they're all gonna get
Because
traded.
that hasn't worked over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So they got to do something. Obviously, the kid from Purdue will be the number one pick coming into this draft here. If anybody hasn't seen it, he's like
No,
seven
he's
four.
huge. Yeah.
He's a big dude, big ogre looking guy, man. He's got a good post game, man. I will give him that. So
Right.
Anthony Edwards with another two, with 39, but they're still down 10. So again, they can't get past this double digit mark, and that's gonna crush them going forward here for it. But yeah, man, my Warriors lost their 14th pick. They had to get a top four positioning to keep their pick, and they lost it. So now we don't even have a first round pick for this upcoming draft here. So not to make Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s job any more difficult than what it already is.
That guy.
Now he doesn't have a first round draft pick to work with here. So the Warriors got some things to figure out.
Well,
they're going to have to.
Lakers are for sure going to trade their pick. You got we're going to trade our whole library of picks if we could get our next 2 years worth of picks if we could get the player that we want. Just by the way, the Minnesota has finally cut it to 8. Missed shot by Murray, so the Minnesota Timberwolves have an opportunity to cut this down to 6 if they could get a bucket. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, man. So yeah, man. I all I know is that my team also struggling. we ain't doing that. We giving away everything. Who wants picks? Who wants Rui Hachimura?
You know what'd be the funny part too is
that?
when you guys do have a pick, you guys don't know how to pick because you guys haven't had to use a pick in years to say the least. So they're gonna
not a good one. I mean, we've done pretty well in the draft, to be honest with you. But the problem is we don't keep any of our talent.
But that's what I'm saying. So like you said, you're gonna get rid of your draft picks, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then when the time comes after draft talent, you're like, oh wait, we got to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about the guy. Remember, we had that terrible team and got all those draft picks. All those players we drafted, they weren't bad players. I mean, it was D'Angelo Russell, Larry Nance Jr. It was Josh Hart. It was Brandon Ingram. It was. I mean, these are pretty good players. You know what I'm saying? But we had to get. But
Anthony they're not Davis on your team.
Yeah, no, they're not. We had to get Anthony Davis. So I can't.
He said we needed Anthony Davis, so we're just gonna get rid of the rest. Although Brandon Ingram isn't really starting to work out in New Orleans. I mean, he was hurt most of the season here, but it's not really panning out too well for him down there. So who knows? He may be in the Warrior uniform.
Maybe. Yeah. Ugh.
What else? Hey man, are you caught up on this whole Drake Kendrick Lamar beef? Dude, the timeline is out of control. All I know is Drake has had beef with Metro Boomin. He's had beef with Future, and then now the Kendrick Lamar diss song is like one of the most listened to songs in the club too. Like, nobody like Drake no more.
It's over. That's all. I mean, Drake unfortunately lost. He's been accused of doing some strange things, as well as being kind of a fake, or fraud. Let's say and I don't even know why he was involved to begin with. I mean, he's not really that type of guy. I mean, he makes the song stuff, right? The sing-songy pop type rap stuff, like he's not really,
for God's sakes, he's not a gangster.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I don't think he had any business trying to get in some type of battle rap with Kendrick Lamar. It didn't make any sense to me. I thought Drake should have just went back to being, I mean, the man calls himself Champagne Poppy. I mean, I don't think
should have just stayed that way.
Nothing gangster about that. Now, apparently he sold all of his homes in California and sent his family out of the country. Or family. When I say family, I mean his estranged baby mama and his son. And yeah, it's really starting to look like everybody's kind of turning on him because there are some accusations that have been backed up with some video evidence that kind of there's some things that came out that kind of make him look a little weird. And yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
No,
It's not looking good at
no,
all.
not at all. But you know what should happen is Kendrick and Chris Brown should go on a tour together, and both of
Just
them
berate.
do their diss tracks. I just paid money just to go listen to it live in person here.
Yeah.
That's something I would definitely do here. Um, the Timberwolves are in trouble. Down
Yeah,
12,
it's
4 minutes.
109. It's 97. They haven't been able to crack the code yet, and they are still
Nope.
behind. Nobody other than Edwards getting anything done. They've only got 3 minutes left. I don't think they're going to be able to climb out of that hole.
Well, at this point, Anthony, if they get to stop, the ball should never leave Anthony Edwards' hand at this point.
That's what's
With
been happening.
3 minutes left,
Yeah.
he can't afford to let anybody else but himself take the shot. Everyone should just go to the hoop when the ball gets in the air, but let him take over here.
Yeah.
Oh, no foul. There it is. So yeah, man. What else we got? I think that was pretty much it. Baseball's been pretty boring lately. My team sucks.
Yeah, we gotta start. We gotta start getting into it a little bit more.
The A's are actually playing pretty good baseball right now. Who would have thought?
They're leaving.
Exactly. They're playing with no F's given pretty much here, to say the least.
I'm actually waiting for them to come to Sacramento. That way I could go see a game.
Hey man, don't forget to jump on that merchandise though. I'll send you some money.
Yeah, exactly.
To make sure we profit off of that. Yeah, we're profiting off of you, Sacramento A's.
That's right. Yeah, I heard they for those who didn't hear it, they trademarked the name Sacramento A's. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, they did.
I thought they put in for one. I thought, or rights or whatever. So I'll go back and check on it just to see where that ended up. But yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see. But they'll be up here in Sacramento for about, I think, a couple of years or so before they go out to Las Vegas and burn up in the summer heat. That does not sound fun.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like 110 degrees in that ball.
It's got to be a dome,
I would hope
right?
so.
Yeah, it has to be. There's no way.
It better not be glass dome either, because
get blinded.
That dude's gonna be hot as hell in there. I know, right?
Yeah, no.
That's what they want. That's what they want.
No, thank you.
What else we got? I think that's pretty much it. I didn't hear anything kind of crazy in the sports world.
No, nothing. Nothing I could think of at the moment.
And we got Caitlin Clark. We got the WNBA kicking off this week. I didn't think I'd be finding myself saying that, but Caitlin Clark's first official WNBA game, will be Tuesday night. You gonna watch?
I might catch some of it. Yeah, Tuesday night.
Depends
on what NBA games are on. Hopefully they aren't on at the same time. But
well, we got the Nuggets and Wolves playing on Tuesday night.
Well, then I might not. I might have to watch some highlights of Caitlin Clark. But
you know what? This would actually be a really good test for the WNBA, because obviously their season starts when the NBA is in its deep postseason run.
Yeah.
What kind of viewership can they get with the amount of players that they have coming into this and the hype around one individual player?
Yeah.
Can they get people to watch in the middle of a playoff run for a lot of teams? Can they get that interest there? That's going to be interesting here. Now, I'm not expecting them. I'm not expecting them to draw numbers. They have to.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do they have to? Any team that plays in an NBA market needs to move those games to an NBA arena if they really want to profit off of that.
Yeah, that's true too. But yeah, I think they got to lean on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and try to play up this thing as much as they can. But we'll see if they can finagle something, or if they drop the bag. We'll see what happens. I think she's got the contract with Nike, which is going to more than pay her way more than what her contract is in the WNBA. So she's set. And so it's really
she's making millions, bro.
Yeah. I think her WNBA contract is like maybe 250 or 300,000, something like that a year. So
300,000,
which is the top, which is top for the
holy
WNBA.
Cow. Nike, I don't know if we talked about it, but Nike's deal with Caitlin Clark is $28 million over 8 years.
There you go. Boom.
So she might as well just, obviously she's got to play to make that money. But quite honestly, that check from the WNBA is more like her bonus.
Right.
And the actual check she should be reving is coming from Nike.
Chump change.
Exactly here. There was another WNBA athlete that just signed with Nike. So
Oh
Nike
man.
signed two WNBA athletes this year, which is, I'm not saying it's unheard of, but it's unheard of.
Yeah, well, I mean the WNBA, I mean the Nike obviously is trying to push things forward. They want to get these folks on their team so they can continue to market them. It's a great idea, and we'll see if it pans out. We'll see if the WNBA can capitalize on it too, and
Yes. So
get games televised.
it is the Las Vegas Aces star Aja Wilson. She's a
Oh,
pretty
AJ
solid
Wilson.
player.
Yeah, she's been in the
AJ,
league
is
for
it
a minute.
AJ?
I thought it was
She
Aja.
signed a deal.
I don't know.
You have who else? Or Kelsey Plum.
Hmm.
She's with Under Armour.
Yeah.
Um, so you got some good some stars here that are signing good deals here, but got to capitalize on it. But
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely, man.
oh man, this game's over. They're down
Yeah.
12 with
Yeah.
2 minutes or
2 minutes
three.
left. It's looking like it's a wrap. Not really that surprised. Well, I guess I am a little surprised. I don't know. I get they tied 2-2. You really
Yeah,
almost wonder what is this team going to even look like when they get back to Denver? Is this series over, or are they going to be able to make the adjustments and recoup? Man, it's
I
pitiful.
think
It's sad. It's very
I think
sad.
you I think you asked the same thing when it comes to the Knicks and the Pacers.
Yeah,
It's 2-2. Oh, never mind. Big three from, was that Conley? No,
Jaden McDaniels.
McDaniels.
Yeah, but
Never
it's
mind.
almost too late, man. And the problem is they haven't been able to stop them.
Yeah. No, if they would have had two stops earlier and at least 4 points out of those stops,
I mean,
you're looking
it's
good.
going to Jokic. Big Cat's going to do his best, but okay, yeah,
God, is it just me or
they
does
need
Jokic
spots.
look tired? Does Jokic look tired every time he's on that court?
Every fourth quarter, he looks like that, man.
Yeah.
But he gets it done. Uh oh.
Oh,
All right, now it is a
oh,
7-point game.
all right.
Anthony Edwards, 43 points. Wow.
Are we just gonna finish out the show watching this? I think we are.
Well,
Does Anthony
we got to get you out of here in a couple of minutes. But yeah, there's only a
in a
minute
cup?
32 left. So one more
Yeah,
bucket by the Nuggets, and this game is over.
but another stop
Oh,
would just be.
nope, it's it. That's it. They gave
Is
up.
that Jokic?
They let Jokic just go right to the rim, and
Yep,
they had a,
that'd do it.
they had a sad double from the opposite side that did absolutely nothing. Oh my gosh, Gobert, you suck. Yeah, all right,
For a man with all that height, geez
he
Louise,
has
man.
no touch. He has some of the worst hands in the league, man.
One of the goofiest dudes to be that tall, man. Like I don't get that. How can you be that tall and that
Yeah, he has no
no,
touch. None.
like literally all he's got to do is just go pop.
Yeah,
Dude, if I wish I had that height. So all I do is just play just a little tap in,
I'm
you know.
dunking. I'm just dunking on people and daring
Hey,
people to foul me.
have you seen the movie Happy Gilmore?
Oh yeah, of course.
They're in the talks of a Happy Gilmore too.
Really?
Yep.
Ah.
Everyone coming back
Is
too.
it gonna be like him as an old man, like after the dust settles? Like what? I'm curious.
Like the senior, like on the senior PGA circuit
Right.
now.
Or is he like an established tour person and I don't know, and he's facing the new up and comer. I don't. We'll see what happens. Adam Sandler's always a good time, so either way, it's probably gonna be pretty fun.
Yes. Did you catch the roast of Tom Brady?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Guess who was there?
Who? Giselle
Charles
Bundchen?
Woodson.
Oh, okay. Oh, he was.
No,
Oh.
dude. When I tell you the jokes about his divorce, though, oh
Yeah,
my
I
god,
heard someone pretty bad.
it was pretty bad. They had Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick in the room together since they fired his ass. They made him they made him take a shot together. It was
That's
kind of
funny.
funny. Oh,
Yeah.
and Minnesota trying to do something here, but it's
You
just
mean Ant Edwards is trying to do
yeah,
something?
my
Literally,
bad. Yes, and Edwards trying to do something, but I don't think it's just gonna pan out too well.
Gobert did nothing. Gobert went up to the free throw line and clanked 2 free throws.
Are you shocked by it though?
No, he doesn't shoot free throws. He's just big. He blocks shots because he's really tall. I mean, oh man, he missed a free throw. I give him credit for blocking shots and moving his feet, but I don't know. I'm not that
Man, he's
impressed
just
with him.
nothing but a big croissant because his ass is from France. That's all he is.
Soft,
I wouldn't even call him
soft.
a croissant. I'd call him
A
a
croissant.
escargot,
A
a croissant.
croissant.
I bet you goes to have a cigarette and then pass COVID around again like he did in 2020. Bastard.
Anybody want a croissant? It's like, no, no, go
Anybody?
ahead. We don't want your croissant. Sorry.
Well, take my COVID then. I'm not saying that all France people sound like that, by the way. I don't have a French
idea what they
accent.
sound like. Me neither. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to even start with that.
Need a raspy voice and a cigarette to I guess really sound like it.
Oh,
Yep,
good
this
block
game's
there.
over, man.
Oh.
No, I still think this is over.
It's another foul. Now they're sending Conley to the line for 2.
I mean, that works for Minnesota's favorites. The clock stops. You could be aggressive on the end on the defensive end, but the free throw battle's too late for this at this point here.
Yeah, well, they've already missed 3 free throws, which they could have used, but we'll see if Conley knocks these 2 down. That would make it a 6-point game. So you can try to either foul or you can try to let them go the full clock. No, I guess you can't really let them go the full clock. It's not enough time.
No,
So,
you could go about 5 seconds, and if the ball gets past half court, then you got to foul at that point there. Yeah. Well, how many timeouts? Denver's got both teams have 2 timeouts, I think.
Yep.
Is that what it sees?
Yep. So Denver will probably call a timeout after this made free throw, maybe.
Yeah, get the ball into the half court.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
Timeout. All right.
They just gotta make sure they don't turn the ball over. That's all. All
right.
Well,
I think that's all for us tonight.
Yeah, man. Hey, have fun at dinner, man. Tell Mama Birdie I said Happy Mother's Day.
I will. Absolutely, man. Happy Mother's Day to your wife as well, man. You guys got a beautiful family over there. I'm glad. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to her, man. And then in a month, we're celebrating you for Father's Day.
Hey, there you go. Then it's time to do whatever I want.
Exactly. That means sitting on the couch and taking naps and then
watching the finals, baby. That's what's always on around that time is the finals.
I think it's game 7 of the finals generally.
If it gets that far, you're right. If it gets that far.
Not to rain on your parade there.
Well, hopefully. All right. Well, folks, I think that's all we got. We're going to head out. B's got a very important event to get to. And I am going to wash the barbecue smell off me and put food away, I guess. Y'all have a wonderful evening and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
All right. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Don't forget that too. We appreciate it. And y'all take it easy. Peace.
Night.